Mirror, mirror on the wall, who has the best excuse for cheating of them all? Oh no, I totally had amnesia. I didn't remember I was married when I cheated with that girl. Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing Emerald City, Episode 8. And as we get into the end part, we are introduced to another old but familiar character, the Cowardly Lion. There's part of me that almost wants to label the theme of tonight's episode as love. And maybe that's because I've been making these videos of why do we tell love stories. Maybe not, I'm not too sure. But we have this whole thing, and Lucas has this problem. Well, maybe he's not Lucas anymore. And at the same time, we have West and Tib, and of course, we still have everything going on with our Tin Man. And you know what? Without getting into too many specifics, I do think tonight's episode might be love. The things we do for love, the things that we won't do for love. And I won't do that. Back to that whole, build an emerald city from these grains of sand. But okay, time to throw this up there and get started. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. Ba-da-na-na. I'm really going to start this review off by asking if you've ever been in one of those relationships where you had a significant other who didn't have a life outside you. I'm not saying that in like a bad way either, but they just wanted to spend every moment with you. They just wanted to hang out with your friends. They wanted to do the things you were doing. In my own experience, that happened the time that I fell in love with someone that I worked with. Yeah, that didn't work out so well. But the end-all, be-all of this is the danger of if you don't have your own spaces, you end up with only working in certain ways. And if you're not growing outside the relationship, you're not bringing anything new to the relationship. And that, I think, is what is going on with Jack and Lady Eve and their whole relationship. And the entire idea of the fact that they need to grow to be stronger together by being apart. Now, that I've said that, you know who that totally backfired on? Oh yeah, that would be Rowan. You might know him as Lucas. And and Glenda. Because, you see, they were married, and she set up a spell to protect him. You know what the spell would do? If for any reason someone found out about him or his life was put in danger, it would wipe his mind of everything dealing with her. Of course, she wasn't planning on her meeting the beast that fell from the sky when she cast that spell. Her plan was always for him to just be able to come home to her still. And now he has. So let's take a break for a moment from magic and fantasy and all of that, and just take a theoretical situation. If someone has amnesia, but is married to a woman, and then sleeps with another woman, is that cheating? The amnesia says he didn't remember. On the other hand, shouldn't the heart remember? Shouldn't he remember there's something missing? And shouldn't just, this hot chick not be enough to sway that? I don't know. That's a difficult question to ask. One that will keep our good witch here up many a nights, depending on how things go. But really, that's just the tip of the iceberg, because we have a lot more going on in this episode too. Because you see, we finally have the reveal of who the Princess of Oz is. When someone corrected me on whether or not this was a transgender character of Tib, we had the fact that there was this descendant of the King of Oz, Osmond, and Osmond was the proper Queen of Oz and could replace the wizard. In fact, if there's anything that would scare him out from behind that curtain, it would be her. And what is she told of him tonight? She's told that people fear monsters from the sky, monsters from the sea, monsters from the earth. They should fear the Wizard of Oz. And then she's taken to have some sort of magical experience, and she sees the Cowardly Lion slay her family. And I think we all know who that's going to be. So the wizard himself doesn't spend a lot of time in this episode, only a few minutes here and there. We see him prepping for his war, and we see him setting up a camp and then going to get those guns from the Lady Eve. And it makes sense. At the end of the day, those guns are the only thing that could possibly give him a fighting chance against any amount of mages. Oh yeah, and they have a lot of witches on their side. So, is the wizard the bad guy? Is Glenda the good guy? Well, no. Well, at least one of those. Glenda's definitely not good. But the wizard may be evil. And I guess when you really look at it, when you compare science and magic, if you have magic, you don't need science. But if you have science, having magic wouldn't hurt, right? I mean, just the way I see it. But then we want to talk about the magic that Dorothy has, and the magic that Dorothy learns to really harness tonight's episode. Because those ruby gauntlets come back with a force. Because with them, she's able to open those doors, and is even able to go one-on-one with Glenda. Yeah, it was a sneak attack, but let's be honest. If she wasn't harnessing some real power there, she never could have done it. Of course, the question becomes, if you were Lucas, Rowan, whatever you want to call him, the Scarecrow, how would you handle the situation? Two minds, two hearts, and both of them belonging to one of the powerful women. And then, of course, we have to talk about that ending. I'm going to skip over the bad connotations of an attempted suicide from a bad drug addict and go with exactly what happened to Tip. Because Tip is back, and Tip is badass, and is about to tip the scales because she's the Princess of Oz. And if you want to hear all of my thoughts on it, I'm going to need you to subscribe, like, and share this video. And next week, we will talk about the Queen of Oz. Because remember, when a princess's father died, she becomes a queen. But in the meantime, I'd like to build this community, so I'd like to thank you for joining me as we walk through most of this story. It's almost to its season finale. So thank you for walking with me through the heart of this story and others. Thanks for watching.